When you open one of these videos, the vibe is usually something like this.
Hey guys! So to get into college, I had A's in every subject. So I was the founder of my school's football team. I got a perfect score on my SAT and debate team when I was in 7th grade and coding club. Yeah, I started a non-profit for cancer research and school newspaper. And then I solved cancer.
This is not one of those videos. I'm actually going to be giving you the opposite of that advice.
See, if you're a smart person who's even mildly anxious about getting into college, you know all of the usual talking points of what you're supposed to do. You feel like you should do a lot of extracurriculars, learn an instrument, start a club, a non-profit. So you might get confused, maybe even a bit annoyed at what I'm going to say next, which is what I wish I could tell myself in high school and every kid applying right now is do not watch these videos. Literally ignore as much how to get into college content as possible. Actually, don't even think about what you should be doing with respect to college at all. And it sort of worked out for me. I got into places like UChicago, Brown, Georgia Tech, and ultimately I chose to come here to Berkeley. I'm gonna tell you what I wish I had done regardless, and guess what? It's a lot less stressy, and I think it's gonna leave you a lot happier. So what you ultimately want when an admissions officer looks at your application is, wow, this applicant is so good at what they do. And they're unlike any applicant I've ever seen. So, competence and uniqueness. Those are the two things people are trying to show anytime they compete, whether you realize it or not. You want to be different from all of the other kids, but you also want to be better at whatever it is that you're doing. So let's think about it. Does following online advice actually help with them? So like I said before, if you're watching all of these videos, you're probably pretty anxious about college. You see all these people doing amazing things, so you think, oh my god, I need to do something big. And I don't have that much time before college, so I need to do it fast. So you end up chasing things that can give you a hit of status as fast as possible. You think, let me start this club, let me chase these awards, and in general, you do things that sound good. But let's think about what you actually need to be competent at something. If you ask me, you need to spend a lot of time on it and you need to work really hard. Which means you need to really love what you're doing, otherwise both of those things would be super difficult. But you see how following online stuff doesn't allow you to do that? Because if you're rushing things for status, you're not going to put in the time you need to actually become good at something. So either you'll try and find shortcuts like making a club which has no students enrolled, or it won't be as good as something that you do love. Okay, but nobody expects you to know what your passion in life is in high school. But everybody does have some general things they're interested in, which is why all of this doesn't mean you stick to one thing as much as you stick to one theme. See, I was interested in education throughout high school, so I volunteered at a preschool. I taught my school's coding club for like 3 years. I coded up an app that helped connect people to tutors. And I didn't do any of that for some external validation because I was really interested in that general theme. Thing is, I'll admit, I did allow myself to get caught up in doing things for status though. I used to love making projects, but I ditched them way too fast because I wanted something that could be big super fast so I could farm status. I actually made a video about it, but that tutoring app thing, the moment it started doing pretty well, I was like, wait, this should be a startup. I suddenly started thinking super big so that I could make something that give me lots of status. And then I gave up on it too fast because it wasn't giving me the status I wanted as fast as I wanted. If you're searching up what to do to get into uni, you're already trying to do what somebody else is doing to get in. The thing you have to remember about everybody who's made content online about getting into university is that it's a very specific kind of person. It's people who are obsessive enough about college applications that they're gonna make online videos about them. Say you aren't looking at this stuff, there's a million different ways to do your own unique thing. If you keep obsessing over this content, you're gonna become just like the people who make it. But what do you actually need to be unique? Okay, obviously you need to be different, but the way I like to think about it, and I've written about it in a blog post, is you need to think about the probability that you're interested in something given that a bunch of people are interested in that thing. So if you're into making a club when literally everyone around you is making a club, that's not so cool as if you're into Mongolian throat singing and nobody around you is into that. You can even add your own spin to things that are popular. So if everyone's making a club, you can make a Mongolian throat singing club, and that's different from everybody who's making a super generic like debate club or something. But it needs to be you. In watching these videos online, you get FOMO. You think universities want people who are like those guys making videos. But universities don't want you to be that person. They want you to be you. They want people who are people, not copy and pastes of someone else.
And so you can't be you by just following online stuff. Also, people stop these things that they're doing immediately after college, or like make fake clubs that they never really cared about, and which I find super gross, because the example that comes in my head is some kind of messed up rom-com where the male lead finds out about the romantic interest online, they stalk them, like figure out what they want in people, and then becomes that person to try and impress them. Eventually maybe they succeed, but then they completely ditch all those things the moment they succeed, or never cared about them anyway, which means they're kind of trying to impress that person with a fake persona. Which, even if it succeeds, it's kind of gross, and I think it would fail in the long term, which leads me to, even if you do become competent and unique at something that you feel like you're doing just because you need to, it's still bad because it's not you. I have 3 reasons for that. The first is that your childhood is your childhood, not some kind of precursor to becoming a person. Like how you spend your time when you look back, that's gonna have been your childhood. So you don't want to spend it on things you absolutely hate or half-assing things. You don't want to be the kids with no life who would always complain about how busy they are and how they're doing all of these things that they don't want to. You want to be a real person with real interests that you're developing. Second, when will doing something to get someplace stop? Say you get into uni, now what? You're gonna be doing things you don't like to get a job that's prestigious? Then what? Now you're in the job and what? You'll do things you don't like to get a promotion? You keep doing that and what? You end up as a 60-year-old who still doesn't know what they actually care about. And the third, which I think is probably the most important, is admissions is a super random process. You can do everything right and still not get into the university of your choice. So you could waste your high school years doing things to impress an admissions officer and it could still not pay off. So you might as well do things you love anyway. Now the obvious response is, oh, I don't know what I love. I don't know what my thing is. But the answer to that is, this is your time to find out. You're not sure what you like? Try things. And don't expect one thing to become magically easy. Everything requires effort. It's just that with some things, the effort will feel more worth it than others. And those are the things that are truly you. Stick to it long enough, put in enough effort, and you'll be really good, unique, and true to yourself. And hopefully happier than if you were faking it. Just don't bottleneck your entire childhood to the lens of what some admissions officer will think when they look at your application for 5 minutes. Go become a real person, do real things, and for God's sake, stop clicking on these kind of videos.